Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Whoa, whoa. I never been the type to ever get complacent. Man, I'm always up to something, always up to something. I'm finding that my greatness truly comes from patience. I turn nothing into something, you can't tell me nothing. I'm born ready like Vince Staples, I'm war ready.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So I am finally back with my wig tutorial for you. I did already have a part 1 to this video. It was how to bleach knots on a closure. So here is part 2, which is actually how to make a wig. It is very beginner friendly. It is super easy. It's super repetitive. So I promise you, you will be able to pick it up in no time. To me, making wigs at first, it is kind of challenging, but after you make your first wig, you learn what not to do and what to do and what works best for your head. And you know, I just feel like practice makes perfect with anything, and that goes for this as well. But I don't want to talk too much because the video is already kind of long, so without further ado, here's my video. Okay, starting by placing the closure onto the wig cap, wherever you want to put it. Of course, I put mine in the center of my head. You want to make sure you pin this down as flat as possible because this is going to be the start of the wig, and if it's not flat, it will not lay flat on your head. So just make sure it's super tight and just laid to the gods. So now we're going to start by sewing it down. Instead of sewing it down, we're going to sew it across. The reason why we're sewing it across is for the fact that we don't want to tear the closure. It's very, very sensitive and gentle, so you want to make sure that you're doing the best you can with it. So like I said, I'm just going to sew it across so we don't get any rips, tears, any of the above. If you can see, I am just going through the closure, then going through the cap, and then pulling it back up through the closure, and then just pulling. I do take the needle through the thread once I take it through the closure and the cap just to place a little knot. I also do take the thread around my needle, but I haven't did it just yet, and I will show you exactly what I'm talking about. It's so much easier for you to see than for me to explain because I probably don't know how to explain, or probably don't really know what I'm doing. I am just doing this for fun. I make all of my wigs oh, here you go. So I am just twisting the thread around the needle. Once I pull the needle through the wig, I won't pull it through all the way. So you twist it and then you pull the needle through the thread, and then that's how you get your knot. You tie it a couple of times and voila, your cap is, well, not your cap, but your closure is laid. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the bundles. Okay, so I did get all of this hair from a vendor on AliExpress. The name of the vendor is called Young Thai. It is literally the cheapest hair I have ever purchased in my life. Well, but we'll talk about the hair a little bit later. So we're just going to place our first bundle across the bottom of our cap. I try not to put it too low because I don't want my hair to be super low, just for the fact that I do only have 3 bundles. We're just going to go ahead and sew this bundle on. It is, like I said, everything is so self-explanatory. I am just taking the needle. We're not going through the weft. We're going under the weft through the cap and then pulling the needle through, and then we're just going to go ahead and keep on sewing. Sometimes I do add a little knot in there. I just take the needle through the I don't really know how to explain this. I can only just show you. I am so sorry, but it's just so much easier for you to see what I'm doing than for me to explain. This is so easy and simple. I promise you, this is just the most, it's not the most easiest thing I've ever done, but it's just so repetitive. Once you get the hang of it, I promise you it'll be a breeze. I do want to let you know that when I do start off my weft, I do take the needle through the weft, but just in the beginning, just to make sure that the weft is secure, and then that's when I start to go under the weft after it's already secured in. I am going to use the flip method. I do not cut my wefts. I want to make sure none of my hair will fall or any of that. I only cut my wefts at the end. So we're just going to flip over the hair. Once you flip over the hair, that's when you take the needle through the weft once again to make sure it is laid as flat as can be. I'll just take the needle through the weft probably about 2 to 3 times just to make sure it is completely secure. I mean, you don't want your wig to be falling apart. So you just take it through the weft 2 to 3 times, and then that's when you just start to go back under the weft. And once again, it's just a piece of cake through hair. Everything is just so repetitive. It is super easy and simple once you get the hang of it. I'm just going to fast forward. I'll stop talking for a while and you guys can just see what I'm doing. Now we're getting started on our second bundle. With our second bundle, I did double up my wefts. I wasn't sure if all of my hair would fit on my cap. I don't know why I thought so. Probably because I did start my hair up so high from the bottom of my cap. So I did just wanted to double up my wefts just to make sure all of my hair did fit. So that's what I'm doing here. It's exactly the same thing. It's just now you're going through 2 wefts and you're taking it under 2 wefts. It's pretty simple. Here's a closer view of me making my knots. So I take the needle through the weft or under the weft and I wrap the thread around the needle 3 times before I pull the needle through. And then once it's wrapped, make sure it's not too tight because it will get stuck. You just pull the needle through and voila, you have your knot. So all of our bundles are on our head. Now we finally reached where the closure is. We're just going to attach the last bundle and the closure together. You do not want to go too far into your closure because that's where all your hair is. So just right at the edge of the bundle, once again, be super gentle because you do not want to rip your bundle or your closure. All you're doing is taking the needle under the weft and through the closure and you're just pulling them together you're pretty much just sewing. This is all you're doing. So if you have a knack for sewing and you love to sew, you can make a wig. You don't have to know how to sew because I've never sewn a day in my life and this was pretty simple. You just have to have the patience and the time. I did prick my fingers too much. By the time I was done, my fingers were so sore and numb. I didn't want to do anything. But that's the hardest part, is pricking your fingers and pulling the needle through the hair. Now we're just going to make that knot one last time, make sure everything is secure in place, and then we're going to cut whatever hair is left because there's no more space on our wig cap. And that is pretty much it, guys. I don't know, it was time consuming, but it was fun. I felt like this was the fastest I've ever done a wig. I've done plenty of wigs before, but this one, I think this one's my favorite. Don't forget to cut off the extra piece of wig that is under your closure because you do want that see-through effect. So that's what I'm doing here. Just be careful that you don't cut any of your knots or your thread because that's just going to unravel everything. But once you do that, your wig is finished. I did sew down a piece of, what is that fabric called? Oh, a band, a wig, I don't know, whatever you want to call it, a band. I didn't show that on camera because it was my first time doing it and I didn't want to show you guys anything that was wrong. But I did just sew it down to make sure that the wig fits snug on my head, and the wig does have the pulley elastic string, so that also helps.
Yeah. Whoa. I never been the type to ever get complacent. Man, I'm always up to something, I'm finding that my greatness truly comes from patience. I turn nothing into something, you can't tell me nothing. I'm born ready like